أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. In previous recordings we talked about the conditions that one has to have so they can pray, and to recap, one of these conditions is purity. Purity is mandatory, and the purity includes purity of the body, of the dress, as well as the place of work of the salah, the place of worship. All of these have to be pure. There should be no najasa, no impurity on the body, on the dress, or the place of the prayer. The other one is one has to have wudu. One must have performed ablution or ghusl, shower, if they have to do that, and this is also mandatory. The third condition is one would have to be facing al-Qibla, meaning looking in the direction of Mecca or the house of Allah in Mecca. Another condition that's mandatory for Salah is to cover the body, and in men one would have to cover from the navel all the way to the knees, preferably also to cover all the way up to the shoulders. And women, they have to cover the entire body except the face and the hands. Another mandatory condition for Salah is intention. One has to have the intention of praying when they get up for Salah. Standing is also mandatory for Salah. If the Salah is fard, if it's sunnah, it is better to do it when standing. However, it's not mandatory. At-takbir, or saying Allahu Akbar, also starts the Salah, and saying Allahu Akbar is mandatory. Raising the hands up so they can be by the shoulders or the ears is sunnah. We do it while we're saying Allahu Akbar. After we say Allahu Akbar, raising the arms up, we start with the opening supplication. And the opening supplication, as mentioned in previous recordings, is sunnah. After that is al-isti'adha, or saying A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I ask Allah to provide me with protection or refuge from ash-shaitan, from Satan. Dua al-isti'adha, according to some scholars, is mandatory. The reason for this, because the verse says فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. When you intend to read Quran, ask Allah to provide you with protection from a shaitan. And the scholars said that this rule applied to Salah as well as reciting the Quran outside Salah. Some scholars, in fact the majority of scholars, say that saying isti'adha at the beginning of Salah is not mandatory, rather it is sunnah. It is optional. It's recommended to do, but it's optional. The reason for this, because there's this hadith of the man who prayed in the masjid and made mistakes during his prayer. The Prophet ﷺ noticed that, and he told him, إذا قمت إلى الصلاة فكبر ثم اقرأ ما تيسر معك من القرآن ثم اركع. Al-Hadith. So he told the man to make a takbir and then recite Quran. He did not told him you must say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. So according to the majority of scholars, saying أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم at the beginning of Salah is sunnah. We say this in the first rak'ah, and that's according to the majority of scholars. There are some scholars, however, they have another opinion, and that is one should say it every rak'ah, not only the first one. The majority of scholars, as I said, say that one has to say al-isti'adha in the first rak'ah only. The reason for al-isti'adha is to seek refuge, to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection from the shaitan, because he will try to steal away from our prayer. He wants to distract us from focusing on the prayer and focusing on the remembrance of Allah, on asking Allah forgiveness, and he would do everything he can to take us away from this. So al-isti'adha, saying A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim is sunnah. It should be done in the first rak'ah, and if one does this, hopefully they have fulfilled the sunnah, although al-isti'adha is not mandatory, as I said earlier. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه